PKN 246. Endgame is now the second highest grossing movie ever.
Boom.
Kyle called
What's
it. He was like, break Avatar. So the way it works is Avatar is 2.7 billion, almost 3. Endgame is like 2.1, and it passed like a cluster of movies. Like one of the Star Wars is, I think, Force Awakens, Titanic, and some others, maybe another Marvel movie or two. We're all clustered right around that 2 billion mark. So it has a little gap to get from 2.1 to 2.7. But my goodness, if it got 2.1 in 2 weeks, it'll get 0.6. Yeah,
it's going to do it.
It'll be
and forget about like all the DVD sales. I guess that's not factored in, but that's going to be
I think
huge.
It's not. Yeah.
I think it's going to be the biggest of all time. But James Cameron must have seen this coming, because for the last 2 years he's been working on his next project, which is not 1, not 2, not 3 sequels to Avatar, but 4 sequels to Avatar, 2 of which he's already like filmed and are in the can and are ready to roll out.
They are?
I saw that today. Like I saw a Twitter post where it was like Disney announces new Star Wars and new Avatars, and they're staggered. The Avatar 5 is going to come out in 2027.
Yeah,
dude, it's already planned.
Avatar. I probably have ranted about this before, but Avatar is interesting to me, right? Because like Star Wars: Force Awakens, we've talked about that a bunch. Endgame, in Marvel movies in particular, or in general, we've talked about those a ton. Avatar somehow managed to be the highest grossing movie in the history of any universe we know of.
It's a mystery.
And it somehow is not part of our culture.
My only guess is
it because of China?
I was about to say, I think it's Asia, because like maybe in Asia people are like quoting Avatar and like kids paint their faces blue and put on fake tails. I mean, they already do that, but that's for a whole different reason. I don't get it.
If my kids dressed as the stars of Avatar for Halloween this year, all the neighbors would say, "And who are you?" Right?
Yeah.
But they could dress as Chuck Liddell and get recognized, with the mohawk and the Iceman
much more
shorts.
Culturally influential. Let me ask you this. I could ask you who the star of Avatar is, the actor. I recognize him in a crowd. I'll say that. I remember what the man looked like. All right. I have no idea what the character's name is.
Me neither. I'm like, is it the same guy from Venom? I'm not even sure.
I can't even picture
No, it's not.
I don't know who is the star.
I do know the female star. The female star that he loves is Gamora from Guardians of the Galaxy, the green chick.
Okay. I'll CGI it up, though.
Yes. Right. She's all blue.
It says Sam Worthington.
That's him, yeah.
I could pass this guy on the street, and I would have no idea.
Gamora's the green one, right? I got that right?
Yeah.
That's her then.
Yeah, she's in a lot of stuff. She was also in Star Trek. She's Uhura. She's hot. But yeah, Avatar, I don't get it. We've talked about it many times, and I think it's I think a lot of people have talked about the fact that Avatar is that huge movie, huge box office, but no cultural influence really. Like no toys, no like when I think Star Wars, and look, everybody knows I hate Star Wars for all my reasons, and I'm not just trying to be like the one guy who doesn't like it or whatever. I genuinely just dislike it. It's not for me, but I know all about it, and I know about the toys and the different races and the species and the lore and the backstory and all that shit's fucking cool to me. It really is. It's just the story I don't care for. But Avatar, to me, it's Fern Gully the movie. And I don't know if you guys ever saw the cartoon Fern Gully. Basically,
it's the exact same thing.
It's the exact same thing.
It's also the same thing as the Smurfs.
It's the same thing as the Smurfs. It's a bunch of elf people. Fern Gully is a cartoon about a bunch of elf people who live in the.
You got to go back far enough. What do you remember, Steamboat Willie? Right? Oh yeah, sure. It's just like that.
I didn't care for the talking pictures, but after a while,
I love the talkies now.
Now I like my entertainment with 5 minutes of acting out silently and then a placard of text. Call me old-fashioned. That was like a real thing. Like in the switch from the silent movies to the talkies, like a lot of those big, I think Buster Keaton, like one of the biggest stars in the world in the silent movies, they came out with the talkies, and suddenly it was like, this guy doesn't sound like how I thought he would sound. Fuck this guy, I'm done. Like he went through a bad depression.
It was Charlie Chaplin though who was able to make that fucking leap, because you'd never heard Charlie Chaplin speak. You just saw his like physical comedic talent, and the man could just look at you and do a little whoop de whoop, and you'd laugh, and then he spoke, and you're like, holy shit, who is this guy? This guy's got a voice. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen his speech in
I have
about war.
Oh, I have. It's amazing.
Yeah. If soldiers around the world will just join together and say no to tyrants, no to tyranny, no to evil. He's like ranting with this powerful, like, it's like Aragorn, Return of the King, fucking Theoden getting the riders pumped up, death, sort of fucking great.
Do the one where you fall on the banana peel.
I want to circle back to Avatar, but there's a similar thing that happens on YouTube, I feel. When you said that, when these talkie guys, you hear their voice, and then suddenly they don't have the wonderfulness that you projected upon them. On YouTubers, like, I'll watch a guy play, we'll say it's Call of Duty, it doesn't matter what the game is, and I'm like, this guy's badass. He jumps out of second-story windows. He kills everyone he sees. He's amazing. That's probably him in real life as well. And then you see him, and that's not him at all. He's like short, and he's got weight issues, and you can tell he's not popular at school.
It's like, I
know
see
who
why
is,
you
though?
took this path instead of joining the real Marines.
like over the years, I got to meet, I think all the YouTubers that I cared about and everything. The one who I met and I was like, well, you're the guy who plays the games. You're the same. Fucking Sandy Ravage. I met Sandy Ravage and he's like 6'3.5", like good looking guy, like smart, like charismatic. He clearly was comfortable in his own body, standing there in PAX or E3 or wherever the fuck we were. And very few of the guys that you meet are anything like that. Mm-hmm. And I'm not gonna call out anybody for that sort of thing, but we know exactly who I'm talking about. Who's like,
you're talking about literally everyone, like almost everyone, almost
There's
everyone.
One in particular, the one in particular who's like the baddest motherfucker out there, and then you saw him and you're like, oh shit,
okay,
oh shit. Like, I'm just gonna write it because I feel like it's not coming.
I'm gonna write it too because I think it is coming.
I haven't met as many YouTubers as you guys.
Yeah, that guy. It'd be mean to say anything, but I'm just saying, like, that was the case. And Beach Hills. I've been talking about Beach Hills, and I'm not trying to.
Is he a
He's a Rust user.
Ruster, yeah, okay.
But he's good at all games. He's one of those guys that's really good at all games. I'm not sure why he's not more popular. I dig him a lot. He's not. He doesn't look like
the superhero,
the king of the world. You know. But he's not some sort of mutant or anything. He's a regular looking fella. But he's not maybe what you'd suspect. There's a lot of YouTubers like that I watch a lot, like Rust guys in particular, like Blueprint and Wayland.
I showed myself in the second video I ever made just to pop that balloon right from the get-go. I didn't want anyone to be so disappointed in who I really am. I'm like, video number 2 is me doing, I think it is, a real life like headset review. Like, it was about sound whoring.
I saw Wing's hands early.
Yeah,
I remember seeing his hands for the first
Wings
time.
He was less than full disclosure on where he was, right? He said he was 6'4", he was kind of strong, he was this and that, and a lot of that stuff turned out not to be the picture that he was drawing.
Been on camera prior to that, right?
No, he was hundreds of videos deep before that.
Yeah,
man, I did not remember that. I didn't know he made hundreds of videos. That was a real thing, though. Like, now that I'm looking back, because now everybody who does video games, I don't watch those videos anymore, but when I see them in my suggested things, there's always a face there. Like, even if it's just like a green screen little cutout, there's always a face on there. Back in the day, when you would like see your favorite YouTuber, it almost was disappointing sometimes. Where you're like, oh, no, take this video down. Let me just believe that you're the guy that's really cool that I thought you were.
That's where I was heading with this. Like, the YouTubers that I watch now, like a lot of these Rust guys, I'll watch like their whole video catalog, right? I'll sit and watch like 3 hours of their shit, and then I'll come across their face reveal video, and I'm like, no, no thanks. I already have a picture of you right now, and I'm gonna keep that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna keep that.
Yeah.
If you put on that picture and you're overweight and don't even have an eye patch, I don't. The silly things you imagine how people look. But talking about this movie stuff, I looked at, because how I think Kyle or one of you said it earlier about how movies will do really well in China even if they suck dick here. Like, I didn't know many examples of that. The Mummy from The Mummy.
Tom Cruise or Brendan Fraser?
Wait, let me make sure this isn't the brand new one.
The brand new one was garbage.
Was it bad?
It literally killed the dark universe that they were trying to create.
This is the brand new one. It made $31 million here and like $350 million in China. because
Oh.
apparently they like the Mummy series. Triple X Return of Xander Cage. I've never seen a Triple X movie. It's got
First one ain't bad.
Vin Diesel in there. He's like, I'm actually gay in real life. All the things he says in his like goofy ass voice. That made $44 million in the US, over 300 bills in fucking China.
Fast and Furious is
Warcraft
huge.
killed it in China, apparently.
Fast and Furious is huge, but it's not huge with me. Are you guys into that? Like, no one I know is like excited about it on the level they are of anything Marvel. Or
I think
Star
maybe it's a
Wars.
much younger crowd. I think it's a younger, like, because when the first one came out, I thought it was pretty cool. I thought that car was cool.
I had a friend that was super into cars like that, so he kind of sucked me into the franchise.
Yeah, I thought the first one was cool because, like, to me, the whole franchise has really been bastardized and like turned into some real garbage, because it started out, if you remember back, it's Paul Walker and Vin Diesel and Michelle Rodriguez, and basically Paul Walker is going undercover to bust Vin Diesel, because what does Vin Diesel do? He steals DVD players.
Is that what he does?
He hijacks trucks full of DVD players. This is the criminal mastermind that they are after. I mean, shit. Why did he run away at then? What was he going to do? 4 years? Like, just, you're becoming an international outlaw over.
This man has stolen 5 box trucks full of DVD players. Damn it, Chief! That's hundreds of dollars.
Well, you got to keep in mind, this is like '97 when they were $800 a piece or something like that. It was probably $2 million score. but now, first of all, now it's a franchise where like it's almost like National Lampoons, how like there's like a spin-off version of it. So now there's one where there's a new movie coming out, and it's within the Fast and Furious universe, which now includes the Rock, and the Rock and Jason Statham are doing their own little secret mission within the Fast and Furious universe. There's no car racing; it's just them beating people up. I watched the trailer for this, and I wanted to vomit. They get to the end, and I'm not even joking. They go back to like the Rock's like homeland, wherever, like they do where the Maori live, maybe New Zealand. I don't fucking know. And
sounds right.
And he's like,
I thought it was from Florida.
Yeah, but the character.
Oh, okay. I literally thought you were talking about The Rock, like the actor. Carry on.
So he like goes to open up his weapons cache, and like him and Jason Statham have to go kick some serious ass, right? It's time to like do that scene where you reveal all the black rifles and grenade launchers and shit. And they're all gone, and now it's a bunch of axes and clubs and staffs. And he's like, "Mama, where'd my guns go?" And she goes, "Guns are bad. They hurt people." And Jason Statham's like, "That is true. That is true." And The Rock's like, "Guess we gotta kick it old school." And the next scene, they all have these clubs, and they're doing the haka. They're doing the like toward their enemies, and their enemies for some reason decide to honor this hand-to-hand combat. And there's just a big free-for-all melee where they're fighting what I'm
like
guessing
the Anchorman fight, where they're all just the honor the hand-to-hand.
They decide to fight these international terrorists, I'm guessing, or like whatever, a bunch of bad guys wearing all black who would normally have machine guns and helicopters decide to fight The Rock also hand-to-hand. And then there's another scene where The Rock is in like a semi-truck that's jacked up, of course, like a souped-up semi-truck chasing a helicopter.
So a semi can go off-roading, I'm sure.
And he takes a chain, a huge chain, and he lassos the helicopter's landing gear.
It sounds like you're making this up.
And he's holding the semi-truck with one hand and the chain with the other, and he's going, and he's holding
Captain America did that.
Captain America did that for a little bit.
Yeah, he struggled
until he was overexerted. The Rock is doing it, and like it's not like the helicopter's pulling a little. The helicopter's like lifting the truck off the ground.
And he's the only thing tethering it to the truck.
He's holding the truck. He's like fucking Samson, apparently. But the kick is, if he grows any hair, he loses all of his strength, I guess.
I saw a trailer, and I thought it looked kind of fun. We had The Rock and Jason Statham. They both enter a door, and they want to, like, they're like, all right, pick a door. And then they get, like, a vibe that the other side, like, one is one bad guy and one is, like, 9. And the guy's like, I want to switch doors. And he wouldn't let him. And then, of course, they beat him all up, and they have to open this sensor that I guess is like an optical sensor. So he slams his head on. The red light turns green. It clearly works. The Rock takes his guy, slams it, like repeatedly slams slamming this guy's head on the sensor, and it's comical and it looks fun and it's a silly action movie, popcorn movie.
Same movie. It's the same movie. And I liked the scene you're describing where Jason Statham's slamming the guy's face over and over.
I have it backwards.
That was a good gag. That was funny.
Mm-hmm. And the audio is wonderful for it.
The other things I described, though, also happened in that movie. And,
Well, that sounds awful.
I feel like it's. I need to see it to judge it because it's a popcorn movie, right? If you told me that this was like a serious cinematic venture and someone's going for an Oscar, then I'd say, man, this writing is terrible. But if you told me it was supposed to be a fun night where you take a date and barely pay attention, maybe they hit the mark.
If you're gonna do action nowadays, you better step your game up to like a John Wick level, where like the actor is totally committed, and not only can he kick ass, but he can like jerk tears. And it needs to be in a believable universe. And I don't like the over the top, like unbelievable action. I've never liked it. Like when you can't
out of fashion. I'm kind of you're winning me over. Like what Schwarzenegger did, machine guns that never ran out of bullets. Like Commando is in my head.
Yeah,
that was a great '80s movie, but he's not the '80s anymore.
Yeah, and look, even that isn't as bad as some of the stuff because The Rock makes it like comedy, and Schwarzenegger's version of comedy was like he drops the guy off the cliff, right, and then comes back to the car, and the lady goes, "What'd you do with Sully?" And he goes, "I let him go." Like that's his comedy, right? And that's funny, He literally did like let the guy. He's like, "Remember Sully when I told you I'd kill you last?" And Sully's like, "Yeah, man, you did. You said that." I lied.
Yeah.
He fucking drops him. It's great, but like. The Rock's gotten a little goofy for me. I like The Rock in Walking Tall. You ever see Walking Tall?
Is that the one
I
where,
know of it.
where he's
Walking
the
Tall
star
is where,
at the beginning and he jumps off the building and then the two funny guys are the secret agents?
No. That's the comedy with Will Ferrell and Marky Mark. That's called The Other Guys is what you're referring to.
I thought that was funny.
Walking Tall came out in like 2006, 2004 to 2006, somewhere in there. And it's basically an Iraq war vet comes home, The Rock, and his town has a casino in it now. And the casino's run by an ex-friend of his who's like got some drug dealing going on in there. It's a real nefarious place where girls get raped, maybe. I don't recall exactly. Anyway, shit goes bad. The Rock catches them cheating him in the casino. The bouncers don't know that The Rock knows the owner, and they take him in the back with a box cutter, and they like cut him all up really bad in his stomach. They like carve him up. And he recovers from all this, and he goes back with a fucking 4x4, not a 2x4, a 4x4 post, walks into the casino and destroys the casino and beats all the bouncers up within an inch of their life. In the court case, he's in court, and it's like his turn to talk, and he's like, "Look, I did what I did, and I do it again. And if you find me innocent, not only am I gonna run for sheriff, I'm gonna become the sheriff, and I'm gonna clean this town up and rid them of this kind of crime." And they're like, "Not guilty." And so he runs for sheriff. Johnny Knoxville is his deputy, and they go on this sort of like 2-man rampage against like the evil casino owner. And the whole kick is The Rock won't use a gun. He carries like when he shows back up as sheriff.
4x4.
He's got the 4x4, but he's carved it now, like Homer with that limb that got struck by lightning.
Yeah.
He's carved it into a wampum stick that he'll just put it in the like gun rack of his truck, and he'll just get that giant club out, and he'll go to work.
The original Lucille.
Homer, stop
bad.
Rock makes a lot of movies. I feel like at some point he saw Samuel Jackson and said, "Hold my beer."
Yeah.
I'm going to start making 9 movies. You know what I like The Rock? Because The Rock is charismatic, right? You might not like his new movie, but man, can that guy just control a crowd, light up a room, smile, and make you like him. You probably haven't seen it, but is it Moana, the Disney film? No, it's a cartoon. Shit.
I've seen it. I've seen the Moana thing.
Yeah. And he sings in it, and he's really good. He's really good. I like, you want a character that you like, no one else could have pulled that off like he did. And I would have never seen it if I didn't have children, I think. But I do, and I have.
I like The Rock. I wish he'd do different things with his career. But I bet he's making an incredible amount of money.
I'm loving your deep dive reference with the Wonder Bat from season 3 of The Simpsons.
No problem, man. Yeah.
That's great. I should watch that again.
Yeah, that's a good episode. But I like The Rock. I would like to see him do different stuff, though. I'd like to see him doing a more emotional role, like a deeper role where he isn't just like the guy who smiles and everybody's happy and everything. I need him to be hurt. And in Walking Tall, he gets hurt. And I really liked that. That was one of the first movies of his that I saw, and I was like, oh, this is actually a fucking good movie. This is good. And Johnny Knoxville is real funny.
Yeah, Johnny Knoxville has a lot more acting range than people realize.
For sure.
Like even in The Ringer, when he wasn't being hilarious, pretending to be retarded,
2005.
like he did have the little character arc at the end where he like got emotional and all that with the
What's
girl
The
and
Ringer?
everything. So
The Ringer is when he
go ahead.
He pretends like he's retarded and joins the Special Olympics, but it's a lot like the South Park episode where Cartman realizes that not only are they not like pants on head retarded, they're just disabled children, but they're actually decent athletes. and Johnny Knoxville like becomes friends with all these kids, and the kids are played by kids with actual mental disabilities and physical disabilities, and so they're a couple of them are very good actors. The one kid with Down syndrome, like he's got a lot of quips.
The big Coke bottle glasses. He's funny.
He's very funny. He's a good actor. It's a good heartwarming, heartfelt movie because of course he has a love interest who's like, I don't know, she works for the games too, and then she finds out that, you know, he pretended like he was retarded and like bonding with her, and then she finds out he's like, but actually though, I'm not retarded and I love you, and she's like, what the fuck? You're a monster. You're a monster, and he has to like be like, no, I'm not, even though like.
That Mosaic Down
totally
syndrome is almost a ringer himself. So I know about Mosaic Down syndrome because my manager had a kid, and if I recall correctly, his kid didn't look like he had Down syndrome, but did.
Is this a different kind of Down syndrome? Mosaic?
Down syndrome, to my surprise, is a spectrum thing, right? And some people get hit hard with it, and you know their muscle. Firmness, there's a term for it, is so bad that they just never have any strength, they never have any cognitive development, and it's rough. Some people get it light, some people only get the look of it and they're actually pretty smart inside, and some people get the vice versa of that. So you're talking about this guy who had Down syndrome and Coke bottle glasses but was actually a pretty good actor. I bet he's not that dumb.
Remember the guy from Ozark, the young man who has Down syndrome, but obviously he's acting in Ozark. He's the son of the lady who owns the little gas station fill up.
Oh, right. Uh-huh.
Yeah. You definitely see that a lot. And then Meryl Howard Kalin is somewhere in the middle.
Is he the guy that played Corky? Is he the one in?
Meryl Howard Kalin is the chef who was like contaminating all that food with the dirty chicken, and he had like the public access cooking show. And he's like, today we're gonna make chicken, and he's like cutting all this raw chicken up on this board, and he's like, now we're gonna make salad, and he's like making the salad on the same.
He's got like board. Raw chicken goo all over his hands as he's touching the salad, and it's like, this is not safety. This is not safety. What I liked about The Ringer,
rest in peace,
was like the R.I.P. Meryl Howard Kalin, but how he went into it not just thinking he'd dominate physically, but he's like, oh, I'm gonna have all these retards wrapped around my finger, and within like the first half hour he kind of figures out like, god damn it, not only did I not have control of these guys, they're manipulating the fuck out of me. Like, and so like he's getting outsmarted by them
because they figure out that he's right away, like,
yeah, they know, they're can like, see through the charade.
You're not retarded like us.
And he starts giving her they give him tips where he's like, dude, you're trying to grab her tit and you just look ridiculous. You're laying it on too thick. Nobody's going to believe that. Do this. And like, then he's like over the top retarded so he can grab some nurse's big tits or something. He's like, Johnny, that's how you do it. And like, look at Howard. He's the master. Like,
that's funny.
It's so, because like you go into it thinking it's going to be the kind of movie where it's mocking the disabled. Really, it's mocking Johnny Knoxville more than anything.
How to get away with it.
The disabled kids end up being the surprising like stars of that movie in a lot of ways. They're all good actors, despite their shortcomings, and they're really funny and not in a way that like degrades them, I guess, or it's not me. It's not like we're not laughing at them. We're laughing with them the whole way. It's good. I like that movie.
It's funny now that everyone looks at entertainment. I know that's an older film, but people watch everything and they're sensitive to like girl power references, social justice warrior references. Sometimes they're not even there. Like I don't think Arya killing the Night King was like a I am woman, hear me roar moment. She was just Arya.
That was just a bad plot.
But there are a lot of people who were angry at Game of Thrones writers because they felt like they were just bowing to letting a girl do it or something.
And no.
I'm pretty innocent of that with regards to entertainment. but I'm super guilty with regards to murder. If you tell me that some guy just shot a church with 9 people, my first thought is like, who'd he vote for? Huh? What was his motivation? Maybe not my first thought, but it's in my head. If I hear a bomb was sent somewhere, I'm like, oh, which side of the political spectrum was that bomber? Because half of the times these things are motivated by that worldview.
Did the bomb work?
Probably.
Yeah. Republican.
Yeah. Could be. or Muslim.
They're also good at it.
Community has a very strong Republican, base.
I don't know. I need to Google that.
We are the right-wing jihad. Hillary Clinton will never rule over us. That'd be a real like that. What's that meme where the guy's like sweating and there's 2 buttons?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had no problem with Arya doing it. Arya was set up to be such a badass. I watched last night. Sometimes they take like sword fights from movies, and even that silly stick fight we watched of those Polish farmers, and they put lightsabers in their hands because that makes it cool. Mm-hmm. I saw that, but it was Arya and Brienne, and I had forgotten how good that sword fight was, and how like on her game Arya was, and how
it was just a little throwaway scene, but it was pretty good where you got to see that, like, because Brienne they've established is truly badass. She beat Clegane, a wounded Clegane, but she beat him, the Hound. And then so we knew that Brienne was up there with the best sword fighters in the world. Arya, on the other hand, like we knew she had spirit, but we didn't know how well she 1v1'd. All we saw
Brienne was also the champion.
She struggled with the waif. That's right.
She was also the champion in Renly's like big competition to decide who would be his like protector or whatever. Like she beat what's the gay one? Renly was gay, but the Flowers, the Knight of Flowers, who's also a badass.
The fuck his name is.
Fuck, Marjorie's gay
brother.
I have so many thoughts on Game of Thrones. I will try to hold off.
Yeah, let's not
2 more days. Well, I think we did a good job. We haven't talked anything current.
We're reminiscing back to when it was good. Like, remember when they took the Knight of Flowers, the best looking man in the whole show, and carved his fucking head up? Good God, that was awful.
But he wanted that. Or wait, no, I'm thinking of Lancel Lannister. He wanted it.
Volunteered for that shit. Yeah. Oh man, what a great show that used to be.
The Lannisters are habitually bad parents. It seems like none of these kids are growing up well adjusted. Like, you're in the richest family on earth, and you leave for a dirt rag cult with a star on your face. That's a lifetime decision.
How old was he though?
Like 20.
I think he was like 20. He was supposed to be like a young adult where,
I'm just saying, like, at some point you stop blaming the parents, right? Like if some 32-year-old goes out and does a bad thing, do you blame parenting or that guy?
Hey, you blame the guy. Yeah. And look, the worst thing that happened to Lancel, by my memory, was Cersei fucked him a lot. All right? I'll take that damage.
Worst thing.
But he didn't want to do that. He was one in the family who was like, I'm not going to say anything about you and Jamie fucking, but you incorporating me into this is making me very uncomfortable. And she's like, shut the fuck up. I'll tell people you came on to me if you don't fuck me. Whatever I want. And he's like, okay, I guess you know what? That rag cult is starting to look pretty dope. Right now.
I don't know. If you're at like Cersei Lannister, I think you'd be down.
Dude, that's the thing. So, like, you'd think Game of Thrones would launch a lot of careers, right? But by taking 10 years, it almost consumed a lot of careers, right? Like, the childhood actors are not childhood actors anymore. Now they're adult actors. Bam, that just happened. Someone like Cersei, what's her next role? Unless she's going to get these, like, Queen of Hollywood Meryl Streep roles or something. Like, she's done being anyone's love interest. She's
pretty typecast.
And she's older.
I mean, she played a great villain in Dread.
So long ago.
Oh, she was in 300.
That was long ago too. She was hot. That was like
5 years ago.
300 can't be 5 years ago.
No, 300 is like 10 years ago.
They made a second 300.
Dread,
I think she was in the second one too.
I don't remember if she may have been in the second.
I don't know. The second 300 was really terrible, so that's a bad example.
Really terrible. But I don't know. It's going to launch some careers, and some people will just be typecast. It's a mixture
Yeah.
of both. Like obviously
Heck,
Sophie Turner is in the new. I think it's going to be awful.
Sophie Turner was in X-Men before Game of Thrones, I think. But who's Emily Clark? I'm thinking of her, Emilia Clark.
Emilia Clark.
Emilia Clark.
She's a bad actress. Look,
Oh my God, a bad actress. I'm not going to say the scene. Okay, yeah, bad actress.
Look, she's a bad actress, and look, she does a fine job at playing the Khaleesi. All right, but if you watch her outside of that role that we know her as, she's just bad. Like she played Sarah Connor in a Terminator movie recently, and it bombed so badly that they were just like, well, we had a trilogy planned, but now we're just going to do a whole different thing where the real Sarah Connor played like Linda Hamilton comes back, who's 50, and Arnold Schwarzenegger comes back, w's like 70, and they'll make a movie.
Those are like accurate ages.
No,
yeah, they are.
I bet he's older than 70. Yeah.
Because
Yeah, I
Emilia
think she's
Clarke
older
was
than 50.
it was so bad. It was such terrible casting for Emilia Clarke to be Sarah Connor, because Sarah Connor is one of science fiction's heroines. She's one of the baddest women in sci-fi. There's like Ripley from and anybody who goes on about how like women have been like misrepresented or they're always like damsels in distress. Watch fucking Alien. Watch fucking Sigourney Weaver be a badass bitch for like a whole slew of movies.
And all right, a couple of things. First of all, there's 61 and 71, I think. I just looked it up. 62 and 71, so about right. And dude, so there's two kinds of badass women you can have. Fake ones, which I'm cool with, right? You can be Captain Marvel. You can be like Arya Sansa. This is a fantasy sci-fi. Like it's not. Yeah. Look, everyone can do that, right? That's cool. And then if you're a real life badass like Ripley, that I'm down with too. All she had to do was like carry a gun, express bravery, rock that like mech warrior thing. Like that. They never had her beating androids and arm wrestling with no reason to.
No, she never beat up a man. She never did anything outside of like what her physical capabilities were. She was just brave, and she was cool and calm under pressure. When everybody else melted down and literally froze in fear, she most of the time anyway, she showed bravery, which is like she's terrified. Of course she's terrified because the xenomorphs are terrifying, but bravery is like working through that terrification.
Works for me.
The
terrification.
I wouldn't be surprised if he said that at some point. And they were like, Mr. President, actually, it's the war on terror.
When you said I thought you were doing wings.
Oh, no.
When there is terror imposed upon you, you are terrificated.
Yeah, and Linda Hamilton, in my memory, was the first woman to ever get beefy for a role. Like in Terminator 1, she is the damsel in distress, and she needs saving by Kyle Reese from Arnold Schwarzenegger's Terminator. It's more of a horror movie. And he sort of trains her as the movie goes on, and he tells her like, "There's a day coming when like we have to fight for mankind. Your son is going to be the savior of mankind." Then he dies, and she's like, "Oh shit, I'm pregnant with the guy who told me about this kid." And she's like, "Well, my mission in life now has to be the trainer for him that Kyle was for me. I have to raise a son to be a soldier, and the only way for me to do that is to learn how to be a soldier." So she got boyfriends wherever she could, who were these badass motherfuckers, and got them to teach her so she could teach him. And by Terminator 2, she's in that psych ward doing chin-ups with the like ripped as fuck. Her back, she looks like a UFC fighter. She's as muscular, if not more so, than like Rose Namajunas or Joanna
that before her. I think you're right. I was scanning the steel cage up here.
Yeah.
Rusty and full of holes.
The old Woody IMDb database.
Yeah. And man, who was a badass girl before her? Now I'm sure there's been action heroes.
So if you go back to
Aliens, actually, it was prior to her.
Well, Ripley didn't get bulky though until like maybe Alien 3. She was kind of jacked. But that was kind of bad. But if you go back, there was an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. I don't remember if it might have been Conan the Barbarian. It was where there's a black chick in there with like her like half her ass is showing all the time, maybe 3/4, like just the middle part is covered, and she's got like a mohawk, and she is ripped. She's like a real Amazon. But you know, that was a weird kind of movie. She wasn't doing a lot of acting. But this was a case of an actress becoming that. Whereas I think the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie was more like here's a super athlete we can put in our movie, which is what they did with Schwarzenegger anyway.
I was going to knock women for a moment for rarely doing like what Christian Bale and lots of other people are doing. Who did Joaquin Phoenix? How close am I with that?
Yeah,
Joaquin.
yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix for the Joker. Has done a little body transformation there. But how many women do body transformations? But
Bridget
then
Jones' Diary.
I thought, actually, we only want one kind of woman, right? As hot as you know how to be. Like what?
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
If a woman gained like 70 pounds for a role, people's reaction would be like, "Oh, gross."
Or if they got like anorexic
they're
looking.
like, "Look at the dedication it took for him to stuff his face for 5 months."
Renee
That is
Zellweger
funny.
gained, I'm going to say 40 pounds for Bridget Jones' Diary. Like she went from like a size 2 to like maybe a size 14.
Huh.
She got big for that role because her character is supposed to be big.
Who did that?
Renee Zellweger.
Is
in
she
Bridget
the
Jones'
one
Diary.
from Show Me the Money? Who's the?
Yes. Jerry Maguire.
That's what I'm looking for. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know of her.
Yes. She got some plastic surgery. She's looking a little odd now.
You know who? So I feel like I'm one of the more forgiving people that age in Hollywood, right? Because people age. Hollywood actors and actresses are not immune to aging. Shelley Long. Do you know what she looks like now? She played Diane
From Cheers?
in Cheers.
Yeah.
She hardly looks like Shelley Long anymore. She aged poorly. I'm gonna look for like a
Yeah, give me a link, and I'm going to get you a before and after of Renee as well.
Shelley Long 2019.
I did 2019 Shelley Long. There, the second one.
The one with her in front of the blue background?
I clicked on the link.
Oh, I just went to images.
Me too, but if you click on it, you can't see it, so we'll have to flip back one.
Renee became a different person.
Well, I mean, Cheers was the 70s, wasn't it?
80s.
80s? Okay.
She just doesn't look like an old version of her.
Oh,
I see it in there.
I see it in there.
Right? But
The
like,
bangs don't help. Although she had bangs in the show.
So people, I'm looking for a young her. It's the jaw that changed. Like she had it's a beautiful, well-defined jawline, and then now it's just. I mean, that happened.
Not a great look. I mean, she's old lady.
This makes her look like nothing. Check out Shelley Duvall.
Okay.
From The Shining.
Oh no, Shelley. Tragic actress Shelley Duvall has hit rock bottom.
Where can I see this? Do I have to look at the video?
I just linked it in here. There's just a photo of her. You don't have to watch the actual video. You can just see the picture.
That photo is not on
Only
the
way
page
you can even
when
tell
I
it's the same
click on it.
person is the teeth.
Oh,
I
poor
can't show
Shelley.
it to people.
Her teeth were jacked up back in the day, though. They've always been jacked up.
I do my best and.
They weren't even jacked up. She just had big teeth.
I mean, I'll share X, like clip it, and then just give you that link if you want.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, then I'd be
Give me
able
one
to.
sec.
Because if you click on the page he linked, it doesn't have that
Oh.
picture on it.
Sorry.
I mean, it's
See
not
if I
your
can
fault.
find it.
I'll have it in just 1 second. here.
Yeah, Kyle's on it.
Says she wants her career comeback. Well, sorry, Shelley. I don't think that's going to happen. Unless Kathy Bates dies and that vacuum opens up, you're done.
Kathy Bates is much hotter than her.
Kathy Bates is also a fantastic actress.
She sure is. Shelley Duvall was an amazing actress. Like if you go back to see how she was treated on the set of The Shining. Like I was watching some behind the scenes the other day, and she's very emotional. Like she's having a hard time. And Stanley Kubrick, and I guess some of the cast, the crew are like, "It's gonna be okay, Shelley. All right, we're gonna shoot for a couple more hours, and then you can go back to the blah blah blah." And Stanley Kubrick comes in. He's like, Don't you sympathize with her. You stop that. That's no good for your performance. And she goes, and he says, no good for you. And she's like, yes, it is. It makes me feel better. That's the problem. Do not sympathize with her. He wants her like strung out and emotionally distressed as she goes into the acting. Like, because it's the scene where like Nicholson is hacking through the door and she's just like holding the butcher knife.
I see both sides of that. Like it. I don't know. I don't want anyone to suffer, but sometimes
Hitchcock did the same things. Hitchcock and the Birds. He had that blonde lady whose name escapes me. she was actually being attacked by birds in one of those scenes. Like she's in a room with birds pecking on her and stuff, and she's flipping out. And he also was always trying to fuck his leading ladies, and he was a slug monster.
What? Oh, slug monster just mean he's ugly and fat. Yeah. Do we have any sympathy for the fat rapists of Hollywood? They're just using the tools they have.
Depends on the amount of talent they've got.
It's on a spectrum.
Yeah, I've heard that for music too, right? Like, I don't know if like, shit, who's Carly Jasmine? Who's saying "Call Me Maybe"? If we found out she was horrible, Carly Rae Jepsen, maybe, I don't know. We just cast her aside, right? Be no problem. But with Michael Jackson, we've got a real problem on our hands, because he did some brilliant music along the way. R. Kelly's done some terrible shit. Chris Brown has done some horrible things, but his music has been good enough that I
got a problem with Chris Brown.
I can't get any writing done with you coming in here and eating in my ear.
That's so good. I love that scene where he's backing her up the stairs and she has the bat and
give me the cake. Give me the cake, sweetheart.
I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm gonna bash your brains in with it.
That is such a good scene. I need to rewatch that movie.
Oh, it's a great movie. One of my favorites. One of my absolute favorites. Have you ever seen the documentary about it?
No, but to your point earlier about the Kubrick thing, he was apparently like Hitchcock in that he did that in a ton of his movies, where he would intentionally like stress out and antagonize actors to try, if they were meant to be stressed out and antagonized in the middle of it, to try and. I think Hitchcock was even worse about it.
Hitchcock was very bad. He would
actively like borderline commit crimes. Like, be like, I'm going to stage like a robbery of this person's trailer to get them really stressed out before the scene. Yeah. It's like, honestly, like I am an actor. Just tell me my direction. I'll do my best to act.
I like to think Kevin Spacey was doing that. They were potential actors, I understand. But, he wanted to see how they looked under stress. Young
it was my
boys.
understanding that Frank Underwood was a pedophile. I'm a method actor. Like Daniel Day-Lewis.
I was watching.
I derived any bit of pleasure out of molesting those boys? Well, then you don't know me half as well as you thought. Yeah.
I've been watching these videos of Kevin Smith doing what I won't call stand-up. He just tells stories about like his Hollywood experiences. Good at it. And he's talking about what a douchebag Bruce Willis is. It's so fun to watch. Like him talking about being on scene with Bruce on set with Bruce Willis, because he directed the movie called Cop Out, which is Bruce Willis and that black guy from what's his fucking Tracy Morgan. And it's Bruce Willis and Tracy Morgan buddy cop movie, and like Kevin Smith just couldn't direct this guy because he was so outrageous. And I guess like they were having some kind of an issue also about like the next Die Hard movie.
I know this.
And there was just a really funny moment, which I didn't think was a douchebag moment of Bruce Willis. I thought it was a cool moment where like Kevin Smith was hearing them talk about the problems with the writing in the Die Hard movie, and he's like, "Look, give me a laptop, a couple hours, and I'll fix this." And he's like, "Get the kid a laptop." And so they get him a laptop, and he fucking writes all this shit that they needed to describe this scene to like pump up this one character in the new Die Hard movie. And they send it off to the executives at Fox or Paramount or whatever it is. And hours go by, they don't call back. Finally, they call back, and they're talking to Bruce, and they're like, "We don't like it. This is no good. This is supposed to be funny. This is supposed to be funny." And Bruce is like, "Oh, okay. Let me ask you this: who's your second choice to play John McClane?" That's what I thought.
He knows his market value.
Good. He does. Yeah, and it's the most like I'm glad that Kyle got it right, because it's exactly what he said. Who's your second choice to play John McClane? And you're just like, well, fuck. After you, it does fall off quite a bit. This is like Die Hard 3. There's like he's a couple in.
You're kind of the crux of the series.
Yeah. It's kind of.
If I tell you that John McClane wants to become a Russian ballroom dancer, you're gonna send that script to me, aren't you? Dude, and they'd have to. They'd be like, "Well, now it's about a Russian ballroom dancer."
Talk about aging in Hollywood. I feel like Bruce Willis did it right. What Bruce Willis did is he turned 40 at around 28, right? And then he just stayed there for the next 25 years. He's a bald, tough guy in his late 20s, and then he just hovered there. And he had a nice, long action movie career because that's him.
Yeah, I like, there was a part even in that Kevin Smith thing where Kevin had wrote into that stuff he was typing up, like where the bad guy calls Bruce Willis cue ball. And like Bruce Willis's writer is there with him, like looking over his shoulder, like giving him pointers and stuff. And he's like, you don't want to remove that. It's like, what? They're insulting each other. They're going back and forth. Yeah, but Bruce insults you. You don't insult Bruce. And especially not about the hair.
Yeah, really?
Not the hair. Not the hair.
You mean he doesn't like his iconic look?
Well, this is at the point where he's bald. This is like Die Hard 4. Where he's full shaved head.
That was like the Honeymooners. He got bald. What was the show he was on?
It was the Honeymooners, I think.
I think the Honeymooners is the one where Honey, I'm Home, and
I like Blind
big
Date.
Fat guy. But
you ever see Blind Date?
Else?
I've never seen that. No.
Blind Date is where like he goes on a blind date with Kim Basinger, gorgeous, beautiful woman, and he can't figure it out. He's like, why have they? She's like, I have such a hard time dating, and you just keep getting these signals that like. There's something wrong with Kim Basinger. And this is like 80s Kim Basinger. She is incredibly beautiful. And they're having a wonderful day until she starts drinking. And alcohol sends her into like this insane zone where she ruins the night to the point where he's in jail and his car's been destroyed and he's been fired from work. Like those
on
things,
one date.
On one date, he gets fired from work. His car, which is like a nice Mustang, is destroyed. And he is in jail beaten up. like that was the night for him. Blind Date's a good movie. It's a good movie. We watched The Fifth Element last night. We did like a group watch of
The
Fifth Element with Bruce Willis. A bunch
I haven't
of the guys
seen the first four.
He's bald in that, and that movie was forever ago.
Well, he's not bald. He's got the the thing right here that's his trademark. He's got that.
Yeah, he's got a little hair in this, and this is 97, so only like 22 years ago.
Yeah,
I need to see it. Yeah, I remember.
When I say bald, when I hear bald, I mean. At this point, he's embraced it, and it's like shaved, right?
Yeah.
He's got a shaved head, but he had like that piece of hair in the middle, whatever you call that, for decades.
Yeah,
what was that movie called again?
The Fifth Element. Mila Jovovich, Gary Oldman, Bruce Willis, obviously, and who's the other one? I can't think of it, but Gary Oldman does a
Chris Tucker
job.
Actually, you're right. He has way more hair in this than he does in my memory in that.
Damn. Who is that? Is that Chris Tucker who does that, or is that Aziz? Or
That's
do they both do that?
He still has more than a 5 head in this. Like,
oh yeah,
I'll link it when I'm looking at. But
Mila is hot as fuck in that movie.
Dude,
fan of Mila Jovovich.
The perfect specimen. Yeah.
Mila Jovovich.
Jovovich.
Yeah.
He's 43.
And from Patrick Stewart talked about losing his hair. And he was like everyone would ask him, like, dude, you're this sexy bald guy. You own the baldness. You do that. He get question after question about being bald. And he's like, look, stop it. It was the most traumatic thing that ever happened to me. In my 20s, my hair fell out. I am what I am. Let's move on. And
you can go back to Dune. And I need to look up what year Dune came out. Mm-hmm. He has the same hairline in Dune as he had as Captain Picard.
Dune came out in... Wait, it's coming out in 2020, so I guess it's
that's a new 65. 65, apparently.
Wow.
Or maybe that was the book. I'm sorry. It's 84.
Oh, 84.
I'm stupid. Yeah, in 1984, he had the same hairline he had as Captain Picard, which was actually only like 6 years later. But still, it went early and it was gone. And it wasn't a bad look for him. He's a great looking bald man.
Dude, he's just good looking. So you can rock that, right? In the same way that, like, the terrible clothes look good on models. Yeah, everything looks good on her.
Yeah, Dune is being remade. I've been talking about this with my
You've been
friends
very excited about Dune. Yeah, and you explained the combat.
It's the best sci-fi ever written, I think, maybe.
I hope I like it. I was forced to read the book at a time that I was too young to read that book. It was 7th grade. And 7th grade, Woody wasn't a particularly very good student. On top of that, I don't think that it's a book for, 11-year-olds.
Isn't it a very violent book?
Yeah, absolutely.
I was like barely keeping up with it, and I'm like, something about spice that everybody wants. I hope I pass this terrible quiz. So a little hate for Dune was planted in me as a child. This movie it's starting in a hole.
Yeah, Dune spans 34,000 years of recorded history that's all fiction, that starts with Earth and goes with us populating the stars, and inventing all this. Basically,
It's supposed to be a long ass movie.
the movie was originally like a 5 or 6 hour cut. It got shaved down to a couple hours. The movie's not very good.
That's
We're all
funny.
very hopeful for the new movie.
What I like is like 34,000 years of history. That's going to take more than 90 minutes to tell.
Yeah. I'm not going to be able to pop in and pay a little bit of attention. I'll miss whole eras of history.
They
if I look down
focus.
at my computer.
They focus on a very small part of that third. What I mean is like for example, Game of Thrones stretch. You could go back to the Andals and the First Men and all that shit.
Yeah.
But that's not in the show and that's not in the books, right? It's just part of the history and the mythos of the whole thing. But Dune is more about like the struggle for the desert planet Arrakis, also known as Dune, where the spice melange exists solely there, and the spice extends people's lives to like double normal. It gives them like abilities in some cases. It allows warp travel to any instantaneous travel to any part of the galaxy. It's very sought after and valuable, and whoever controls that planet, they're calling the shots, and it gets given to these Atreides. The Atreides dynasty, family, whatever, and then there's a big coup. It's very Game of Thrones like in a lot of ways.
I wish they didn't call it spice, because 11-year-old Woody wondered why it was important really at all.
Yeah,
It's like saffron, but tastes even better.
yeah. It's like pepper. I don't know.
Is there enough to go around, guys?
Yeah, you guys are really you really. I don't know. Take some risks and go through long efforts to avoid bland food.
And Paul Atreides is like the chosen one. He's like a mix between Luke Skywalker and Professor Xavier. Like he's just this blue-eyed, literally glowing blue-eyed, like superhuman. It's good shit.
Because he ate so much spice.
Yeah, because he was in the spice environment so long and to such a high concentration. And also he's literally like genetically like predisposed to be a superhuman, like because of selective breeding, and there's a lot that went into making Paul Atreides the badass motherfucker he is. He's like the perfect human.
I'm reading a new book. Reading as in audiobook.
Yeah.
It's called The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. It's pretty good. Like I probably it's well known. Like I don't really know books that well. But dude, this book is epic, and it's 27 hours long as an audiobook. The guy that recommended it to me consumes a lot of content like this. He says it's the best one he's ever seen. I kind of wish it would turn into a movie. It would be... There's a lot of good source material out there that I wish more people were into.
Yeah, I hope... I thought HBO was going to be picking up the Dune thing, but then someone corrected me and told me that it was going to be a movie.
Going forward, HBO, do not go picking up series thinking that Gur Martin is going to finish it in time, because he won't.
Yeah,
No.
but maybe pick up something that's already been completed.
Yes.
like something that someone's already finished up. So
What?
there's not some...
You know the
waiting
Western one? I think they say maybe
Westworld?
motherfucker a ton. No, it's older than that.
Oh,
something?
Deadwood.
Deadwood is it? Why didn't that finish?
You
Was it not?
cocksucker.
all right. So Deadwood got canceled back in the day on a bit of a cliffhanger. We've talked about how much we hate the cliffhanger because it was very things
It
had
wasn't
come
meant to
head.
be canceled.
No, they're making a movie though.
Hmm.
HBO's making a movie. It's coming out soon-ish, and they've got all of the Timothy Oliphant, the guy who plays the sheriff, who's like a badass, is back. I thought that the actor who played Swearinger died, but I saw him in the preview for this. So maybe it's a flashback, a CGI character, or maybe I'm just stupid and the motherfucker didn't die. But they're making a movie. HBO is, and it's coming out soon-ish, like maybe this year. And the new series from HBO that's also been promoted a good bit lately is The Watchmen. They're making a Watchmen series.
I didn't hear anything about that.
It's in the previews for Game of Thrones.
Is that a big fan base that like The Watchmen? Is that a Marvel movie or
it's DC? It's within the DC universe, but it's sort of an alternate reality. Like Batman doesn't exist in this world. It's a whole different thing. It's very dark. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie, but there's
I thought. I mean, I haven't seen it since it probably within a year of it coming out, but
yeah.
I remember at the time thinking it was pretty good.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. I think Woody and I both like it a lot, and we prefer the extended version where you get to see the blue guy's dick, and you know it's a lot longer.
That's the only version I've seen is with the guy's dick.
Good. You want to see?
That's
that?
what they had in theaters.
Okay. Well, maybe the extended version gives more than the dick. Maybe it gives some other stuff too. But
Just additional dick.
They add a couple inches.
I looked it up. I wanted to know. Ian McShane is the actor's name, and he's not dead, but he's 76.
Okay, cool. I thought someone key to that show died.
It's possible. Now, it was hard to look up because Swearinger turns out to be a real person. I'm like, died in 1904. This doesn't compute.
They got him.
Then how did he play this role?
Yeah. So yeah, there's a couple interesting properties, and then I've mentioned that the Halo thing is being made into a series by Showtime.
That's a game I want to play. Kyle has got me invested in the story. I want to play co-op with Colin. That's the experience I'm looking forward to.
Dude.
And it just feels like it's taken forever.
I mean, you can play it on Xbox if you wanted.
That's not the experience I'm looking for. Like Colin and I are both kind of keyboard and mouse gamers right now.
Cool.
And that's where we want to be.
It'll be a while, and then you'll have to wait for the second one and then the third one. But it's a wonderful story.
They made it seem like I can't get release dates, but I had it in my head. It was all 2019. Get the
I had that in my head too, and maybe that's the case. If you want to just watch it like a movie, you can watch all the HD remastered cutscenes on YouTube, and it's like 40 minutes.
I even searched it and found it and decided not to, but I might go back on that.
It's real good.
I might go back on. I mean, if nothing else, maybe like if I knew it better, if I wasn't seeing it for the first time, then I could help Colin enjoy it too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's good shit. It's a wonderful, wonderful story. It's my favorite video game story.
Yeah, I don't know.
We played speaking of video games, we there's a new game called Mordau, which is like Chivalry. This is the new Chivalry.
We heard about it on Spider Pig was talking about it.
Yeah. Spider Pig got me to buy it, and we played a little bit last night, really late into last night, and I don't know if you like Chivalry like this.
What first person shooter or first person slasher, I guess.
Medieval combat. And there are many classes, and you can even do a custom class and name a medieval weapon, and it's there. There's rapiers and long swords and daggers and cleavers and bows and arrows.
Is it $60?
30, 35, something like that.
This looks pretty cool in the preview.
I didn't used to be very price sensitive on games, because I always felt like I got a lot of value out of them. But now that I buy a copy for Colin, it's like $120. This better be good.
Yeah.
And then you feel obligated, like you give it the benefit of the doubt. Even if you don't like it that much, like, well, okay, I guess this is all right. This is all right. I definitely don't want to feel like an idiot and spend $100.
There's a new Borderlands coming out, and we were just so on it. And probably you guys, as like intelligent adults, don't think the gun system is very complicated, but for Colin, it is. For him to be like, all right, this next mission's going to have a lot of robots, so we're going to have acid weapons, and this acid weapon is not as good as that fire weapon, but in this mission, it's better because robots don't care about fire. And there's a lot to know. So I was always managing two people, and it wasn't a good fit.
Yeah. Mordau is difficult to play. There's a lot of like parrying and countering, and like it has to be timed perfectly. You have to wait until their sword is on the way to like parry, but they can fake an attack. So they'll like, and you'll parry, and then they'll sa, and it's very high level combat. You'll get into these 1v1s with a guy that'll last like 40 seconds, which is an eternity in a sword fight, and he'll just pump. I'm not good at it.
This looks difficult. I'm just watching the tutorial part, and it looks hard.
I played the tutorial, and I accidentally killed my horse. like I was like, just like the horse at Skyrim, huh? I went off a rock that in real life was maybe 8 feet, but in a video game, you're like 8 feet is nothing. The horse fell dead, and they don't give you another horse. And the trainer is like, "Come on, hop on your mount. Let's see what you can do." And I'm like, "The mount's dead, sir." "Come on, hop on your mount. Let's see what you can do." And I'm like looking at the dead horse crumpled on the ground and looking up at him and looking at the horse and looking up at him. I'm like,
"Hop on your mount, sir. Let's see what you can do."
That's all he's got.
Did I catch you in the dome too many times in our parrying session, bud?
All right, I'll hop on, but I don't see where this is going.
That is the opposite of Skyrim, because like I think they fixed it kind of quickly with a patch after Skyrim first came out, but there was like no fall damage when you were on a mount. for a while, and so you could just like be up there talking to the Greybeards. You know, a trek that took you 30 minutes of frost trolls and getting up there, and then once they're like, "All right, here's your Fus Roda powers," you could just be like, "Well, I'm just jumping off the mountain until I get back down." Just falling hundreds of feet down.
Oh shit! I can just fall the whole way. All right.
Yeah, you just fall the whole way. That was great. That was one of the funnest parts of that, because you know how in video games, like, you'll feel like, damn it, there's just a wooden door right here, and even though in your head you know, if I smack it with this bat 100 times, that's not what the game is. It's not going to fall down.
Yeah.
Like, but you always hit it a few times just in case. Yeah, a fence, exactly. But in that, it was, yeah, that's the way it was with the horses. But man, I wish they would come out with another fucking Skyrim game. I had so much fun on that.
Yeah.
It was kind of a glitch that the horses climbed so well in Skyrim, but everyone loved it so much they kept it. That's what I learned from Reddit. I hope it's true.
I liked that in Skyrim, unlike a lot of different games like that, you could be like, looking up at a mountain face and be like, I don't want to fight all those dragons. Maybe I can like skip, hop, jump my way up this way you're not supposed to go. And like 60% of the time, you're like, well, fuck, it worked.
Yeah.
Like I could just, all it takes is like 20 minutes and hitting Y a lot.
I played Skyrim live with fans, and I might have been peak WoodysGamertag at the time. So, and YouTube Live was a little glitchy compared to what it is now. So if people left a lot of comments, they would fall behind. Well, oh my gosh, the comments fell like 90 minutes behind, like really late. And they're telling me to check behind the waterfall and this and that. And I'm long gone from that part of it. Sometimes I trek back like an hour, trying to get the thing that they were telling me to get. And like, it was, I don't know. People still say behind the waterfall to me sometimes. It was like mock ragey, I was all up, like animated and stuff about it. I wasn't all that mad really, but behind the waterfall, once they saw me get all animated, they just kept saying it and saying it. So good times on Skyrim, kind of. I played it wrong.
Yeah,
so much fun.
I haven't played in a long time.
This Morgenthau or Mordhau game does look really cool aesthetically.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to learn mouse and keyboard, that'll fucking teach you.
I feel like if I can't play normal mouse and keyboard, I'm gonna get butt fucked in this.
I mean, you're gonna get butt fucked no matter what. Like you just need to pick the game that you want to get butt fucked in.
You should play the AI first. Like,
I don't even know if there is AI.
I think this is
in general, if I wanted to learn mouse and keyboard, I would start with something that wasn't PvP. It'd be PvE.
Play fucking Skyrim.
Yeah.
Oh, I could. I haven't busted out Skyrim in forever. I don't even have that on PC.
It's cheap as shit.
I'm sure it is now. That game's like 10 years old almost.
Do you have it on calculator?
Yeah.
I'm going to play it on my iWatch.
Yeah, I can play it on my TI-83. That's how old that fucking game is.
Yeah, play Skyrim, man. That would definitely teach you. You got all the buttons in there. You just need to learn.
I can't wait to talk about Game of Thrones on the next PKA.
Yeah, it's going to be cool.
I'm over it.
I'll wait.
I'm looking more forward to us talking about it than I am the next episode.
I'm over it. It's lost me completely.
Well, we'll save the reasons why for Thursday night.
All right. PKN 246.